Hey everybody, it's hwsteele, and today is February 12th, 2020, and in this video I want to talk about the 1929 annual stock forecast from W.D. Gann again. In the last video I did, we determined mathematically that this forecast with the parameters given in that video is not any more special than an equally distributed forecast or a random forecast. Equally distributed is actually a bit more accurate. Now what that means is there are 50 points in this forecast, 50 highs and lows, and if we take the 365 days that are in a year and divide it by those 50 points, equally distributed, there would be a point every 7.3 days. That's what I mean. And in reality, because there's nothing smaller than a day in this forecast, it'd actually have to be like 7 days, then 8 days, and repeat that throughout there, and that's pretty much as close as we could come to equally distributed for this forecast. So anyway, that means that with the parameters given, that this is not a special forecast. It's no better than random equally distributed chance. So what we need to do before we move on to the pricing is tighten the parameters that we use to determine whether or not this is successful. Do the math on those parameters, and then figure out whether or not it's special. So basically, we're going to do the math first really quickly. There are 50 points on here, and instead of doing plus or minus 2 days, I'm just going to do plus or minus 1 day. And what that does is give us our 50 points, then an extra 50 points in time for the minus 1 day, and then an extra 50 points in time for the plus 1 day. So that means that there's 150 possible points that would be used with the plus or minus 1 day. And we have 365 total days in the year, and we subtract out 104 weekend days. And then remember that there's actually, I believe it was 20 weekend days that appear in the forecast, so we have to add those back in so that the point in time is not calculated twice. So plus 20, so 281. So we have to take 150 and divide it by 281, and we get a 53, so somewhere between 53 and 54% chance of this forecast being successful under the new set of parameters, or more accurately, just over half of the swings should be working out for us. If we run through this forecast and find that more than about half of the swings are working out in this forecast, and that means this forecast starts to become special because it's performing better than what a random equally distributed chance might give it. So that's what I want to do in this video, is run back through here and see how well it does that way. Plus or minus 1 day. And the rules are the same. If the date lands on a weekend, we push it forward or pull it back to the closest trading day. Give ourselves plus or minus 1 extra trading day. And each high has to be higher than the previous low and the next low. And each low has to be lower than the previous high and the next high for it to be successful. If it fails those parameters, then that swing has failed, as far as we're concerned. So we start with January 2nd and go to 5 to 7 with our first one. So January 3rd is acceptable, and then the 7th, the 8th right here is the very lowest point, so that's acceptable. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit so this is easier. Then we have to the 12th and then to the 19th. So we move up to the 12th, which will push that to the next trading day. And then down to the 19th right here. 15, 16, 17, 18, 21. So we'll take the 18th right here. So that's good. So we go up to the 24th and down to the 30th. Up to the 24th, and the 23rd works good. then down to the 30th, 29, 30, that's nice. So then we go up to February 4 and down to February 8. February 4, right there, down to February 8, 7, 8, that's nice. Then up to 13, 14, down to 28. There's 13, then down to the 28th, 27, 28, and the 27th is right there, and that's technically lower, so that's acceptable. Then let's see, March 4, 5, March 14, 15, March 4, right there, then down to the 14th and 15th. There's the 14th. We can even do the 13th right here, but 14th looks better. It's not lower, but it looks better for the line. Anyway, let's see, up to March 20, down to 28, 29. March 20, down to the 28th or 29th. There's a 27th, so we'll put it right there. Up to April 3, down to 12 and 13. April 3, down to the 12th or 13th. There's the 12th or the 13th, the 15th. Either one of those is acceptable because it's lower than the top right there. Although it's not particularly pretty, it's still acceptable. Let's see, April 13th. Then up to the 22nd and down to the 27th. So up to the 22nd. The 23rd is acceptable, and down to the 27th. 29th is acceptable, it's the next trading day. Then up to May 4 and down to 9/10. May 6 is acceptable, and 9 or 10th. That's the 13th, we want it on the 9th. Then up to May 16 and down to May 20. 15 looks good. Down to the 20th. And we can push it down to the 21st. Then up to May 29 to June 1st. 29 to June 1st. So this is the first swing here that does not work out. So we'll go ahead and make this particular swing right here, that bar nice and thick so it stands out, so we know it failed essentially. Okay, so we go down to June 11th and up to June 17th. Down to June 11th, up to June 17th, and then the 18th is the high, so that's acceptable. Then down to June 22, 24, and up to July 3rd. There's the 24th. So 21st is acceptable. Then up to July 3rd. There's July 3rd, and July 5th is acceptable as it's the next trading day. Down to July 9, 10, and up to July 20th. There's the 10th, up to the 20th. There's the 19th. Then down to 22 and up to August 7th and 8th. There's 22 right there, and August 7th and 8th. There's August 8th right there. Let's keep it like that. Then down to August 16th and 17th. There's August 15th. Then up to the 23rd or 24th. There's the 23rd right there. And then down to the 29th or 30th. And there's 29th right there. Then up to September 3 and down to 16, 17. Up to September 3. And then down to the 16th or 17th. There's a 16th right there. And then we go up to the 21st. Here's the 20th. That's acceptable. Down to the 27th, 28th, and up to October 2. '27, 28, 30th, let's see. 27th and up to October 2nd, which is right here. Then we go down to October 8th or 9th, 4th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and up to 18th and 19th. 16, 17. This is the 18th, so that's acceptable. And then we go down to October 28 and up to November 2 or 4. October 28. So the 29th is right here. Then up to October 2nd to 4th. So the 4th is right here. So we'll just put it right there. It looks nice. Then we go down to November 11, 12. Down to the 11th or 12th. So we'll go ahead and put it on the 12th right there. But technically it could go down to the 13th. Still be within parameters. November 11, 12 up to 18, 19. Here's the 19th. And then down to November 23 through 25th. So the 26th right there is as close as we can come, and that's pretty much unacceptable, so that's a failure right there. So that's only the second failure we've had at this point. Okay, so where were we? 23rd to 25th, so we go up to December 2nd. So December 2nd is right here. And we go down to December 23 and 24, which 23 is right here. So that works. And then we go up to 28th and down to 31. So up to the 27th, it's acceptable, and down to the 31st, which is right here. Okay, so what we see here is that using the parameters outlined in this video, which is plus or minus 1 day and no weekends, and each top has to be higher than the previous bottom and the next bottom, and each bottom has to be, of course, inversely lower than the previous top and previous bottom, we see that this forecast actually works out really well where there's two failures, two straight up failures. And that performs a lot better than the expected 53.5% or so success rate. So in other words, math tells us that chance, randomness, should succeed approximately 26, 27 times out of the 50 right here, or 26 to 27 of the pivots should be accurate out of the 50. So with those numbers, that tells us that with these parameters, that this forecast, the 1929 forecast that Gann made, this high-low forecast, is indeed special as of right now. Now I say as of right now because we still haven't calculated the expectancy of the pivots to be highs or lows and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I will start to cover that in the next video. I just wanted to show you that with tighter parameters, something that looks like it's no better than randomness can actually perform better than randomness. We had parameters set that literally pretty much didn't allow for the forecast to fail previously in the last video. But the parameters that were set in this video actually allowed for the forecast to possibly fail. And so because it performed better than what we calculated, as of right now, we are under the assumption mathematically that this is indeed a special forecast. And if that continues, if this specialness to Gann's forecast continues, then that would definitely be something that we would want to pursue and learn how to do. So anyway, the next video, I'm hoping to get the next video out in this series next week, President's Day week, which would be the 16th to the 22nd of February. That's my goal. Hopefully I'll be able to. So anyway, until next time, this is hwsteele, and I'll talk to you later.